Hey everyone, welcome back. I deleted the footage that I took of doing the intro for this video, so I'm doing it again as I'm editing the video. Today I'm making my version of the Taco Bell Crunchwrap. Obviously it's vegan. It's going to start with the nacho cheese sauce. Really simple recipe that you can use for so many things. And then we're going to assemble the Crunchwraps. They're so good. This recipe is so good, and you can tweak the ingredients for whatever you like. Let me know if you make it. Here's what we need for our nacho cheese sauce. It's very similar to the cheese sauce that I used in the mac and cheese recipe, and I'll link that one down below. And don't worry, all of the ingredients and the measurements will be in the show notes down below. So, half cup soaked cashews. If you haven't had a chance to soak them overnight or for, quite a few hours, just boil them on your stovetop for about 5 or 10 minutes. A little bit of turmeric to give it that yellow color and a little bit of flavor. Garlic powder, onion powder, some chili powder, smoked paprika, or regular if that's what you have. We are going to need some roasted red peppers, not the hot ones. A little bit of non-dairy milk. I'm going to use this oat milk, unsweetened oat milk. Some tomato paste, a half a lemon, some tapioca starch, also known as tapioca flour, a little bit of olive oil. If you don't use oil, just leave that out, but it does give it a nice consistency. Some nutritional yeast, also known as Nooch, and some miso paste, white miso paste, any miso paste that you have, to give it a cheesy and umami flavor. So that's what we're going to need for our cheese sauce. Now, when we're making the Crunchwraps, we're going to use some full-size wheat flour tortillas, some triangle-shaped nacho chips. I got these hint of lime because why not? These hot pepper slices, some salsa. I like the chunky. I could make my guacamole from scratch, and I have sometimes, but I'm lazy. I found this spicy hummus, which I think will be awesome. If you can't find this or you don't want this, just use a red pepper hummus. And some plant-based meat crumbles. This chorizo style, this tofurkey chorizo style is awesome in tacos, anything Mexican, because it's really got all the flavors in it already. If you're using plain crumbles, then just mix it with a packet of low sodium taco seasoning. So that's what we'll use to make the Crunchwraps. Here's what we're going to use for the cheese sauce, and I'm just going to pre-measure the ingredients and get them in the blender and get it on the stove to thicken so that we can get on with the recipe because I'm hungry. All right, let's assemble the ingredients for the cheese sauce. So into the cup of your blender. If you don't have a high-speed blender, that's fine. That's why soaking the cashews or boiling them is so important, because it softens them up. Sophie says hi. So first we're going to do is put in, and I've pre-measured these already. So the half cup of soaked cashews, and I've rinsed those. And then to that, we're going to add our spices. We have 1 tablespoon onion powder, 1 tablespoon garlic powder, 1 teaspoon smoked paprika, a half a teaspoon of chili powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, 3 tablespoons of tapioca starch, and that thickens it. And tapioca starch is different than cornstarch in recipes in that it gives a bit more of a stretchy thickness, which is more cheese-like. So I'm just going to put all of those in there. Then I've got my half cup of nutritional yeast and 1 cup of non-dairy milk, unsweetened, obviously unflavored. These little cartons are actually a full cup. You can use whatever kind of non-dairy milk you like. Soy milk I use, almond milk I use. I just happen to have oat milk in my cupboard, so we're going to use that. I have a half a cup of the roasted red peppers, which is basically half a jar. Just go with that. Save the other half for pasta or for putting on pizza, things like that. I have 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, 1 tablespoon of the miso paste, and about a tablespoon of oil. I'm just going to eyeball that Again, you don't have to put oil in there, but dairy cheese is oily, and so it gives it that consistency. And then the juice of half a lemon. I can never use these things. Oh, there we go. It's very satisfying. I gotta say, very, very, very satisfying. So now I'm gonna blend this until it is really, really creamy, and taste it. If it needs salt and pepper, I will add salt and pepper. The miso paste is salty, so is the tomato paste. But let's give it a blend, see how it goes. All right, so this is what you want. It's already gotten fairly thick. We're going to put it on the stove and let it thicken. We're going to stir it constantly until it thickens a bit. This is a good sauce to put on nachos. You can make a nacho cheese mac and cheese. It's just a great sauce to have in your fridge, and it'll last in your fridge for about 5 days, 6 days. It's really good on a baked potato. And as it heats up, it's going to thicken up quite a bit. So you can see how thick it's getting. It starts to get a little lumpy when it first starts to thicken up. Don't worry about that, just keep stirring. I don't think it needs any salt or pepper, but just taste it. Always taste your food and see what it needs more of. You might want it hotter, so you might want to add more chili powder, or some Frank's Red Hot, some sriracha, something like that. But the chorizo style crumbles are obviously spicy, and so is the hummus that I bought, so I don't want to make everything hot. That's what you want, that kind of consistency. I think I'm gonna leave it at that and then start getting my ingredients ready for the crunch wraps. I'm just gonna make one crunch wrap for the video and for dinner tonight, but I do have my oldest son Keaton coming over tomorrow for dinner, so I'll make some for him. But in the meantime, I'm gonna cut this to a smaller size for the, well, you'll see what for. Okay, so we're just going to put that aside. And then the next thing I'm going to do is open up this chorizo style crumbles. And I'm just going to heat it up just a little bit in the microwave to make it easier to use and to just speed up the cooking process once I've got everything assembled. Eve's also makes a Mexican style crumble. All right, we're ready to assemble our crunch wrap. I'm going to angle the camera so you can really see what I'm doing. It's really easy, and these are delicious. Oh, and if you're wondering, yes, I did change. It got really warm in here once I started cooking. To the center of the tortilla, we're just going to add a little bit of the spicy hummus or the roasted red pepper hummus. That's the first thing that goes on. Then we add a little bit of our ground crumbles. You can also, instead of this, you can use beans here. Now, we're going to add nacho chips, but we're going to add them, instead of the traditional crunch wraps have tostadas, I think, on them, but we're not going to do that. We're going to use these to give a little extra flavor. All right, now to that, we're going to add some salsa. I like a chunky salsa. You could also use fresh salsa or pico, or slice, just diced up tomatoes, cherry tomatoes if you have it. And now I'm going to put some guac on there. I'm going to just sort of try and spread it out a little bit. And then the banana pepper slices, the pickled banana pepper slices. If you don't like these, don't use them. If you want hot ones, definitely whichever ones you want. Why not add a few extra veggies in here? And now is where we add our cheese sauce. which is still warm and so should be easy enough to put on here. If you don't want to make your cheese sauce, you can use any kind of vegan cheddar or Tex-Mex blend that you have. So a little bit of cheese sauce. I'm going to heat up this frying pan and I've just sprayed it. The trickiest part of this whole process is the folding of the Crunchwrap. And I am by no means an expert, but that's why we cut this. And so now we just fold. Just like this. Whoopsie. I think I might have torn it. Nope, maybe not. It is tricky, but you do get better after you've done a few. Trust me. And it is worth it. All right. So now let's go back over to the frying pan. You basically just want to flip this over onto here. There. And then I'm going to turn the heat down because I don't want it to burn before the insides get nice and toasty. Just press down a little. And I'm going to put a lid on it, nice and low, and let that toast the first side. We're going to turn this. Oh, it's nice. Press it down a little bit and let it cook on the second side. So I'm going to turn the oven off and I'm just going to put this on the cutting board and just let it rest for a couple of minutes, because if you try and cut it now, it's just going to mush. So just let it rest for a few minutes. Okay, while I was letting that sit, I actually did my dishes. So now let's cut into this. Oh, nice and crunchy. All right. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to enjoy this with a little bit of extra salsa. Now I'm filming this on Saturday, but I'm going to upload it on Wednesday. So because it's Saturday, I'm going to have myself a beer. A friend of mine came over the other night, and we have this brewery here in Calgary called Prairie Dog Brewery, and they obviously brew craft beer and ale, and he brought 6, but 1 of each type. And so tonight I'm drinking the porter, and it says American style caramel, coffee, chocolate, and floral notes. So let's see what this tastes like. That's really good. I definitely recommend trying this recipe. You just want to make something at home that is basically, you know, I think more nutritious. My TV just turned on. Okay, Mr. Salt. Soph, who is over there on the couch, now she's on the back of the couch because she turned the TV on. Yeah, that didn't freak me out at all. Here's the rest of that nacho cheese sauce. It makes quite a bit, so you can half that recipe if you don't want this much. But again, it lasts in your fridge for 5 days, and you can use it on so many things. I don't know how these would freeze, but if you don't feel like making the nacho cheese sauce, you know, just put vegan cheese as that last layer. Though I think that nacho cheese sauce is really worth making because it's delicious and you can use it on so many things. And now Sophie is on the stool where the camera is, so if it goes, we'll know whose fault that is. Anyways, guys, hope you're doing well. Let me know if you try it, because this is delicious. I mean, I love Mexican food. I mean, I love all food. Yeah, give it a try, and I will see you next week.